Hey everyone, welcome back to ABA 411. I'm your behavior analyst, John, and I am going to see about turning up the light on this. Okay, hopefully that helps. Anyway, I have been kind of struggling in creating a video about the importance of naturalistic teaching, right? Natural environment teaching or naturally existing contingencies and reinforcement. No. I don't know. It's basically about why it's so effective to teach in as much in the natural way an existing behavior had occurred, right? It had developed, let's say, like the whole learning history, how it was established and maintained in learners' repertoire, that through using the principles and practices of ABA that we're going through in this channel and the different videos, how to still make some slight adjustments but keep it as naturalistic as possible will be just ever so effective, right? Probably just 10 times more, 100 times more effective than trying to go through the motions of doing these kind of things in a clinic, or to set time and of set days of the week with a specific individual that doesn't live in the home, right? I mean, it's tricky stuff to explain, because every time I reviewed videos and takes of this video, I sound like I'm babbling. So in one iteration, an example that I kept giving was I follow boxing and I'm quite religious about that. And one of my favorite all time boxers, but he's a '90s era boxer, is James Stoney, middleweight champion, super middleweight champion, all the way up to I believe he won a heavyweight title as well. So when he actually was during a fight that between him and the great Evander Holyfield, the commentator, HBO commentator Jim Lampley, had asked the famous great boxing trainer Emanuel Stewart, who was a co-commentator for that fight between James Toney and Evander Holyfield, that it was reported by James Toney that all he did to prepare for that fight, and mind you, it was a fight between himself and an elite level heavyweight, natural heavyweight fighter. And Toney had started his career in middleweights. I believe middleweights, if not like underneath that. But he sparred 300 or over 300 rounds, which Lampley had expressed, wow, that is really unusual, but that's a high number of rounds of sparring that any boxer would go through. It's tremendous, right? It's unusual that anybody would do that. So he asked Emanuel Stewart, can somebody prepare for a fight like this solely on training in sparring with other boxers? And Emanuel Stewart very slightly hesitated, or at least he delayed in answering, but he was quick to be like, yes, you can. So sorry, no hesitation there, but he was like, yes, you can. And that he reported that he admitted that if he had to choose just one training method to prepare for a fight, it would be sparring, because it is the most like a fight in the ring in front of a crowd, televised and all that. And I would have to agree, right? Because it basically is a fight. When you go and spar in the ring, whether you're pulling your punches or holding back, you're basically still fighting, right? You're probably wearing protective headgear, heavier or more padded gloves, but you're still in a fight, right? So you're gonna engage in 300 rounds of sparring. You're probably gonna get pretty good at it. And you watch that fight, James Toney versus Evander Holyfield. You could see James Toney just completely relaxed, calm, right, in the game, focused, and just such a talented fighter. Like he was making Evander Holyfield miss, and just slipping his punches. I mean, he's a master of his craft. And in the end, he knocked out Evander Holyfield. I believe it was round 9. So he won the fight. And yeah, people are going to be like, well, Vander Holyfield was 40, or I think he was 41, something like that. But James Toney was 36 or 38. He was somewhere still up in that range. I mean, once you're past your mid 30s as a boxer, your skills are diminished, but I mean, you could still do some effective boxing. And between the two, I mean, they looked like they were still doing the best they could anyway. I mean, Vander Holyfield was still punching really quick, crisp, but Toney was just slipping those punches, rolling away from those punches, and countering, and just bobbing and all that, and in the end knocked Vander Holyfield out. So just from that example, right, as close to how the behavior will occur naturally, and in trying to affect change, right, making some adjustments, so will have a greater effect when it's time for that behavior to occur naturally. In other words, you're doing some environmental modifications. You're introducing an independent variable, some kind of new command prompt for them to perform a certain behavior before they receive the same reinforcement that a existing or pre-existing problem behavior was so functional in accessing, right? Was so functional in allowing that individual, your child, or somebody you care for, to come into contact with a particular reward or reinforcer or consequence that they want. Then it's going to shape up more to be how you want it to be, right? So quicker, because it's all happening in the home anyway, and you're still present in that. Even one of the maybe subtle but still effortless, is that a word? Effortful changes to make is to even change how you would respond when that behavior starts to occur, right? Because if in the past, when the problem behavior would occur and you lose your nerve or your patience, well, you're going to have to steel those nerves a little bit longer and, extend that patience a little bit longer. And that can make a world of difference. You're going to get some fight back on that one too. I mean, they're going to try just as hard as you, but if you just maintain, right, and continue with holding on to, or being persistent with that change you've made to affect change, then you'll see the results you want. Okay, I mean, it's something that I had some, well, actually, no, I've had many experience in working with behaviors like in the school environment. So for students to change their behaviors at school, and I had great success. I've had great success. And so, I mean, not to boast too much, but I mean, one of my proudest accomplishments, I guess, is when a school I had gone into to work with a client back then as a technician, they built a box for the student. Okay, the containment room just for him, with, I think it was like a bolt locking, or like a bar locking, like a bar that would slide across to lock him in. Ridiculous. Got him out. Not only that, got him back, or got him in with the rest of the class. So how did I do that? Well, I used a lot of the same opportunities that were presented that made his problem behavior so effective, so functional. When those opportunities occurred, I just changed some things, right? Lowered the demand, maybe, recognized where his skill levels were, and met him there, elevated those skill levels little by little, scaffolding effect, i.e. shaping, and then, just reinforce, right? Then fade the reinforcement, right? Skills are actually a lot easier now to perform. He's had the practice. And so, I mean, it was tremendous. So I'm hopeful too for the home that through the same kind of changes and the same effort, then you should be able to see the results that you want to see, and perhaps even sooner, because you're not asking for an outsider to come in, establish instructional control, right, which is through pairing, i.e. build a i.e. build a rapport with your child first, and that takes some time before then running through the programs, and how long can that effect truly last if then someday they have to leave the home, right? Because maybe they've done their job well enough. But if they really did anyway, the handoff should work seamlessly. But it's a very there's a process to that, right? And that could take months, maybe a year, maybe more before that handoff and everything into generalization maintenance of the new replacement behavior settles in, right, is established. And do you want to wait that long? Maybe you do. But if you're really then motivated to see the change come sooner, right, bringing some harmony back to the home, then taking it on yourself is a great first step, right? Just what I mean is, at least the great first step is to recognize that it's up to you. Awesome. I commend you for that. So, welcome to APA 411. I hope we do a good job with at least getting you the tools that you need and understanding the hows and whys, right, of basically ABA and how this works. So if you like the video, hit like. Feel free to share to those that might be interested in what we have to say here, and subscribe, all that good stuff. But I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.